What is up, guys? Wraec here with a new video, and today with some pretty wild stuff, honestly. I thought a little bit about Sealand, and we haven't really done anything there for a long time. I used to do live streams where we cleared different Sealands. I remember, I think the last time we did was like SL Light, which was, I think, the first A-tier EOS clear, and now that, of course, has become trivial with DTV. But he didn't exist back then. Only, I think, a month later he was released. We have done really like every Sealand other than Shadow. And I was on 26 point something recently, and I thought like, okay, come on, let's just click on it. Let's just click on it. You have those 3 attempts, let's just give it a go. And I just clicked 4 times and cleared 27 without any homeowners. And then I thought like, you didn't record it. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are going to try to clear, well, at least a part of SL Shadow without any homeowners. We are going to use Starwing Jara, and we got those huge train buffs now. I mean, look at that. She's not homeowner. She's a 5.3 million attack. We also have a skill damage Giant Killer Stone, so that's going to help. That's not optimal for PvP, by the way. We have a good bunch of HP, 365 mil. We have no sublimations. I had a lot of sublimations when I still had my Starwing Jara CC team here, but after I didn't keep that, so I put the sublimations on DTV, I think. We are going to run a crit damage attack stone, which is still a S3 stone. Okay, I tried to reroll for an S6 variant of the same stone. Now we have no more gold and no more dust. Thanks, DH Games. Honestly, they have to rework those stone rerolling. That was like 300,000 dust gone in seconds. A bit insane. So we run a little bit of speed here. We run Lethal Fight Back, Control Purify. Those guys have Twine, which is quite annoying. Also some attribute reductions. We have damage reduction, we have crit damage, and skin is the Tipsy Whiskey skin for Starwing Jara, in my opinion the best PvP skin, also probably like the best PvE skin, damage reduction, attack speed, pretty strong. 2126 speed plus 220 from the monster. A lot of people forget about those. You get like, if you run any monster, there's, let me check that out, Phoenix, and if you see it's like 40 speed that you get here. And then we have another 180 speed here, so 220 speed on top of the 2126 that we have. Ends up being 2346, which is not enough to outspeed every enemy in Shadow SL. For that you will need like 2430 speed. But I think it's alright. For the most part, for that what we want to clear, we will be good with that. Other than that, we are going to run like, we have an LDA. I put him to before, it's 3.6 million attack, not really a whole lot. And we are going to do some revive shenanigans with some base Azraels. Those still have the skill that we, that they become a Holy Corpse, and Holy Corpse revives a little bit like carry now. At the beginning that wasn't the case, by the way, quite interesting. In my initial review this text was entirely different, and in our testing that we did on live stream it didn't work like that. So they later on fixed that, was apparently a bug. So let's just hop in here. We are going to go for, not for this team. This is what I did last time, I think. Slot 1, Starwing Jara, and we want to avoid the back row. Back row is a little bit of a problem here. In the front row, those guys reduce armor. In the back row, they reduce attack. So we really want to keep our attack, not so much our armor. That is a little bit slow. Let's see if we can even get some attacks out. That looks alright. The question is, can our Starwing Jara survive? We still have the option to go for the strategy with Crown. That was not that great. If we got a second active skill, that might have worked. Another way to clear this is actually by just making a tanky Starwing Jara and rely on the LDA damage. We can of course also rely on the Starwing Jara damage. Our LDA damage doesn't seem to be that great, honestly. What did we have here? I mean, the initial Starwing Jara hit was quite good. The problem is that Twine triggers at the beginning of the next round, which really isn't great. Because you get this seed, and now we don't get this seed now. We get CC'd at the beginning of turn 2, which is horrible. But now we are not CC'd, so we get a second active, and all that was also not quite enough. Let's just go with something else. Where's my Starving Jar even at? Am I blind now? There she is. Let's just avoid the CC. Let's see if that is something that we can do. We can use Lucky Candy Bar to avoid the Twine. I've seen a great Starving Jar recently, an S tier Starving Jar with like Giant Killer Defier. I think it was skill damage and Twine immunity. And I thought like, that's like perfect to clear Shadow SL. Now we can't get Twined on the Starving Jar. The question is, can we survive? And we should have not used Control Purify on that note. And maybe should use, yeah, we should change the enables a little bit, because she doesn't heal at all, of course, right now. And we could avoid a lot of stuff. You can use Dot Purify, we can use Balance Strike, and now we basically have heal. We are still slower than all the enemies though, which is not that great. We could go for Speedstone now that we run a little bit more defensive. So let's try this. Let's see if our LDA can do some stuff. And maybe we get a little bit of Starving Jar or CC, which would be great, of course. We now have Dot Purify, so there should be a little bit less damage incoming. That looks indeed quite a lot better. Yeah. It's always fun to experiment with stuff like this. That is, of course, not the heal that we want. And oh, that looks good. That looks really good, guys. It's best. I mean, we tried some things, we experimented a little bit, and now we have a setup that can clear this. So that's something that's quite fun. Honestly, if I went in here with full power and like made a big Starving Jar and put sublimations on her, that wouldn't be fun at all. Because we are at a point where I could probably destroy it. But what's the fun in that? What's the fun really in that, in one-shotting every single stage and then say, yeah, okay, we're now done with it. That's not cool at all. Starving Jar is surviving pretty well still. I mean, it's bound to end at one point. At one point we will have the problem that Starving Jar can't survive anymore. We can run a Crown, of course, but the question is if that's good enough. Big LDA I can really see working, but currently our Starving Jar is still doing the most in here. And we just one-shot 28-2, so that's great as well. I expect we pretty much do the same to 28-3. Question is boss stage. That's honestly a little bit scary. The thing is, we can't really burst. We just don't. I mean, we run a Candy Cane to avoid the CC. We run Speed HP now, which isn't really offensive. That was pretty close. And you could see, like, in this turn, this was quite scary. We don't have Unbending Will, so that is something that you mustn't forget. If we get to 0 HP, there is no saving grace, we will die. So, boss stage now. All going pretty smooth now. I mean, we are now at 8 minutes in the video, and I spent some time even explaining what the plan was that we followed for like one attack. Yeah, there it is. And there is the big problem. We have the big boss damage. And yeah, he is not really holding back. That's the question now, of course, what do we do? Because this setup is already pretty refined, honestly. We could go more defensive on the Starving Jar. Maybe even... Or do we have to keep that? We can take off those speed imprints, this will work. And then we might just take off crit damage and instead go for armor or block. What do we do? I guess block. Let's see what her stats are. We're now at 123% block, which is alright, and we have an armor of 3,429. How much armor DR is that? Let me check. Let me check how much effective damage reduction we get from armor. That's a Starving Jar. She has 3,429 armor and is level 400, which would mean if the enemies have 0 armor break, we have 41.82% damage reduction. Let's check what that would be with armor. And with armor we are at 6,172 armor. So our armor damage mitigation rises from 41.82% to 75.27. That's a lot better. That's a lot better, actually. So we keep that. That's a lot better than the block, because block is 35% damage reduction. 35? 30? One of those two. Damage reduction, and we already have 50% block, so the benefit of having 50% extra block would only be half that. So yeah, armor a lot better in that case. So let's try that again. Let's see if we can beat that stage now. And the thing is, usually you build this tanky Starwing Jara with the intent... Oh, that doesn't look good. Holy hell, that doesn't look good. Maybe try back row, because in the front row, as I said, we get the armor reduction. And if we don't really use the armor... If you want to use the armor to block stuff, then probably it's rather bad to have her there. Oh, but the boss does scary damage. Holy hell. Okay. Ah, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. The only thing still left that we can do is like use a crown on her. But I'm not sure I see that, because the moment we use a crown, we have to go for Control Purify to get rid of Twine. And I'm not sure this is going to work. I'm not sure this is going to work. We might just need more buffs to clear this 28. And then we still have 29 and 30. It's honestly interesting, I mean, how long that took. And I know a whole lot of people that didn't bother with Shadow SL at all and just kept it open. Because why would you even? I mean, why would you go for it? Doesn't really matter. Yeah, the CC chance is too high. We don't really get out. Okay, we got an attack. But now our crown is of course gone. So that's a problem. That's a reasonably good attempt. I mean, the damage is not entirely gone. I mean, look at this. I mean, we have a T580 here, and this LDA is really catching up. Of course, he's running offensive imprints, but if you think about it, that alone shows you that the tactic of having a tanky Starwing Jara and make her survive as long as possible, and then going for LDA and let LDA do the damage is indeed viable. It is indeed viable, no questions asked. I'm not sure though if we can clear any more here. I mean, we can give it like 2 or 3 attempts. 2 or 3 attempts, make it like 13-14 minute video, and then it's alright. I think that's something that we can do. We can talk in the meantime, by the way, about what I just did. I talked about armor, and I did a lot of testing with armor, actually. The reason is I looked back at some stuff and I noticed that there really wasn't a whole lot of knowledge about basic game mechanics. Like, there is a video from Barry, and he says, he explains the basics on the game mechanics. He says, like, okay, armor is something that reduces your damage. And this is like the most common knowledge type. And it's alright, definitely. But I looked back in time and I saw some Reddit posts from like 2019 where people explained in incredible depth what holy damage does, what the math behind it is, what armor does, and what the math behind it is. And this is something that, in my opinion, has really been lost. Like, there is no one out there showing that info, looking at that info and saying, okay, but what's the impact of this? What's the impact of the new X levels on that, for example? Is armor better than block? Or is block better than armor? Nobody really seems to have this knowledge, or seems to show or use this knowledge for stuff. And I think that's quite sad. So what I did is I went along and I did testing. I did some testing. I started testing for armor. I made an Excel chart that calculates armor damage mitigation. Took a look at holy damage and how it works together. I found a pretty good Reddit post. I tried the formula that the guy used. I'm going to reference him in the video. And I tried that out, and it was pretty close. I'm like 0.3% precise or something, 0.3% precise on the damage mitigation, which is good enough, I guess. Still says that I don't really have the formula all the way around some stuff, but it's about right. And I'm going to make a video about this. And the video, first of all, is going to release for members of the channel, which I have to be I have to say I'm super thankful. In the last month, a lot of people decided to become members of the channel. Some because of an Xolda video I made about how you can save some bucks, more than the 5% that you usually use for Xolda. And I'm quite thankful for that. Obviously helps me do the channel, helps me to do stuff like buying microphone like the one I just bought. And that's super great. And for those guys, I will release the armor video first, but I think that this is knowledge I want to spread. This is some stuff that if you are out there, and even if you don't want to be a member of the channel, or you can't afford to be a member of the channel, I think I will just give it to the members first, and then maybe give it 2 weeks or something, and then release it for everybody else, because I feel like it should be out there. It should be out there, and people should have access to it. And I want to do more stuff like this. I want to look at game mechanics. I want to check how does block work, how does all of that stuff work, and rediscover all that knowledge that somehow has been lost and that somehow nobody talks about anymore. And this is something that I'm going to spend some time doing. It takes a bit of time. I mean, you really have to do testing. You really have to look at numbers. And this is something that you just have to take some time of your day to. And I will do that. I will do that, honestly. I was told, I think it was by Loli. He said, like, I don't think many people will care. I have to say, I don't really care if somebody watches it. Like, if there is somebody that cares, and I just feel like the knowledge should be out there, you know? I just feel like the knowledge should be out there. So, regarding knowledge, I think we now know that we can't beat the 28 boss. We can't beat it is wrong. There is certainly a chance, but it's like maybe a 100 attempt stuff thing, because they CC us. If they don't CC us, we win. But yeah, that's a little bit difficult. One thing that we can try. One thing that we can try before we end the video. Gilded Purple Fan, guys. Gilded Purple Fan. We have a Gilded Purple Fan somewhere, right? Who uses a Gilded Purple Fan? Do you have a Gilded Purple Fan? Just randomly click on a hero, you will find Gilded Purple Fan. On my way to build the 4th one of this on my account, by the way. It's quite interesting. So we got this. Let's just check it out with the Gilded Purple Fan, 1 attack. Let's go. Let's see if that does better than Crown. I would assume it doesn't, because we have high incoming damage. Or? I mean, if we go 2 turns without... Yeah. That might be a problem. I mean, the recovering of the energy shield is nice, but we didn't do 1 attack till turn 6, so that was hardly a good one. Let's give it 3 more. I mean, we have to see 1 good attempt, but because it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good, honestly. It looked pretty good. If we didn't get CC'd that hard, it's always the moment where you like think, if I had an Ignis now, if I just had an Ignis now, we wouldn't have this problem. But no, it's Sealand. We don't have an Ignis. We don't. So if we could just break out, that would make me really happy. Okay, full life again. Full life once again. Turn 10. I mean, now we are CC'd. And we don't really get a kill, right? I mean, that's as good as a guess, right? Okay. Oh! Look at that! Okay, we can beat it! But that was really good. That was really good. We can beat it. That was so close. Let's do the skip battle magic. You know the skip battle magic? When you click on it 2 times and win. Okay, that doesn't work. Maybe we will do this again one time. I mean, we are going to do some more treasure train stuff. This strategy surely worked, so if you want to go for it and maybe have big heroes like this too, feel free to go for it, clear it. And the strategy is fine. Just might need a bigger LDA. So in any way, I wish you guys a great week, and we will see us in the next one.